Welcome. So I watched the Wizardry OVA, very obscure type of series. It was only one OVA, 50 minutes, based on the game Wizardry. So you get to see a lot of lore about the items and the spells, the Muramasa sword. Just how these warriors just go around fighting monsters and going to the tavern and hang out and go back and forth and back and forth. And a certain group of them, led by an old man, decide to go fight this evil man named Warner, who's a demon, and he's trying to destroy the world, and that's kind of like where it starts. I actually enjoyed this. I was not sure what to expect because it's a Wizardry OVA, and just that alone, you know, a lot of adaptations of bad names, but I was actually pretty pleased with this one. I actually enjoyed it. It had a really good voice acting cast, and I'll get into what I observed about it while watching it. So anyhow, amongst the main characters, there's this kid called Albert. He's like the punch bag, the comic relief type character. He's very weak, he's scared, uh, a little strange, but Albert was right. The carefree warriors will all perish if Warner breaks the seal, and he is right to criticize this decadent carefree lifestyle, despite the old man telling him he's going too far. Because he sees that the group, like Shin and Alex, they don't really care about Warner destroying the world. All they care about is hunting their low-level monsters, using their spells, collecting their treasure and items, and going back to the tavern to drink and have a laugh and go back and forth and back and forth. But Albert is thinking, if you allow this guy to destroy the world, you will lose all that. So you might as well fight. So he was right for that. Now, there are some parts that are really, really bad to the point that they're hilarious. And I still like them regardless. In particular, Randy and the voice acting for Randy was hilarious. The Randy makes these unhuman sounds that were just so they were just so over the top. They were hilarious. I was laughing at this guy squealing and screaming. The interesting thing about Randy is his voice actor. His voice actor is the same person that does Charles V. Britannia in Code Geass, Vicious from Cowboy Bebop, Cell from Dragon Ball Z, Majuro from Ninja Scroll, and Pipimi from Pop Team Epic. And this was so. Yes, it was a very passionate performance, but it was so over the top, I just could not take it seriously, and I was laughing. Also, the animation is I like the animation. Sometimes it's a little odd. Like on the elf woman, there's a particular scene where her head is like stretched out and looks really weird. Also, there's also gore. It's not it's nowhere near like MD Geist, but it's some gore that's there. And the healing animation was weird. There's a part where Shin gets his arm chopped off, and the healing guy, Joeza, heals it to come back. And the way it healed was like, it looked gruesome, but it worked. Anyhow, they end up going to the 10th floor, and they save an elf who had her team slaughtered by the demons, and there's a guy that turns people to stone. And this team that comes in, like they end up saving the elf from these giant monsters, and they fight, and there's a lot of references to wizardry. So you kind of have to play the game to kind of understand the fighting and the items being collected and all that. And there's a part where at the end they're fighting the vampire lord, and he gets stabbed in the back by Alex. And the vampire lord is like, "You coward," and he just falls over and dies. I just found that funny for some reason. For that reason. So, Joeza, he is an old man who is a mage. He's the healer of the group. And he was comrades with Werner, but he was betrayed by him. And he's old, so he's using spells to heal and revive, but he's at his limit, so his life is constantly in danger as he uses spells, I guess depending on how strong they are, perhaps. And he revives Albert after he gets slammed into a wall twice. And Joeza ends up dying from. Oh, he falls to the floor from doing the revive spell, and then gets charbroiled by Werner, and he passes away. And it was kind of pathetic because his last words to Shin were, because Shin asked him, "What do we do to beat Werner?" And Joyce's dying words were, "Destroy him," and he dies. And it's like obviously that's what we need to do. And Shin was pretty cool. I think he was best boy. You know, he goes through a lot. He gets half frozen. He gets his arm chopped off by he but he handles the Muramasa sword after Randy gets killed, after the elf nukes him into this like nuclear explosion type spell. And he goes to fight Werner, and Shin manages to master the Muramasa and manages to completely just destroy Werner. He like cuts him in half and destroys the pendant, whatever it was he was trying to break. And order is restored. Now this is based on an RPG, so it has a lot of like RPG elements, as I've talked before. And they try to take Joeza to the temple where they reincarnate characters, but they were unable to reincarnate Joeza because apparently he was too old. So, as long as you're not old and dying, you can get reincarnated. You can get reincarnated apparently. And the ending was very, very comfy. It just shows the cast, traveling on horses. There's a lot of scenery of towns. It was very, very comfy. And so I really did enjoy this anime. It has its good parts, but its bad parts are just hilarious. Where it was a short, fun ride. I would have liked to see this continue, at least like a Wizardry 2 or something, but that was it. So I think I give this an 8 out of 10. I think, but I was pretty pleased.